Hey guys, Mark here at SweatyPixels.com, and I'm here with Chad, and we're here at the WildStar booth at PAX 2013, PAX East 2013, and Chad, can you please tell us just a general synopsis for those of us that may not have heard of WildStar yet, what the game's about, and general synopsis.
Yeah, so I mean, at its core, WildStar is an MMO. We've been sort of describing it as a next generation MMO. So, it's got everything that you come to expect from that kind of a game, but we're really trying to evolve a lot of the systems, our combat system. We're playing a lot of Elder games, focusing on Elder game content, so when people get past cap, that's a big focus for us. Basically, we describe ourselves at Carbine as gamers, and so we're trying to make a game that gamers really enjoy. We think we know a little bit about the MMO market, and so WildStar is trying to address all those things that MMO players really enjoy. So that's kind of where we are. In terms of the game itself, just a quick synopsis. It takes place on the planet Nexus, which has just been discovered. It's a legendary planet. It sort of has different importances to the different races and factions that are in the game. So now that it's been discovered, everyone's kind of racing here to find out what happened. There was this race that used to live here called the Elden. They were doing kooky, experiments with magic and technology, and everybody kind of wants to know what they were doing, and they want to control this place that's full of all of this fun stuff. So that's kind of the big picture story about what WildStar is all about.
Cool. You touched on something that I'm passionate about in MMOs, and it's been the reason I've always quit an MMO is the Elder game.
Yeah.
I probably have years of my life logged into EverQuest, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy Online, Star Wars Galaxies, you name them, all of them. Got the max level. What the hell do I do now?
Yeah.
That's always been a big problem for me. Can you go into a little bit more about the Elder game or the end game, as far as how it's going to be different in WildStar, how you're going to keep people engaged?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a huge issue, right, with a lot of games that get shipped these days, where it's a great game to start, but you get to cap and it's just like, okay, there's nothing for me to do. So at Carbine, it's one of the big focuses of WildStar. Obviously leveling content is important, but just as important, if not more important, is what you're going to do after that. So we've got a whole slew of different kinds of content. We've got raids, 40-man raids, 20-man raids, 10-man raids. We've got PvP, battlegrounds, arenas. We've got a whole new PvP group system called War Plots that you can dig into. That's a really cool system that we're going to be releasing a lot of information over the next few months. But the other thing is, like, we really know that a lot of people play this game as a solo player. And in the past, the only way that you ever got to experience the really epic content was to basically go do the raids, and then you'd see all the stories that had sort of been building up, through leveling content. But if you're not a raider, then you never get to see that. So we have what we call the world story. And the world story is this episodic content that you can play as a solo player that basically forwards the stories that you've been learning all the way through. So not just the raiders and the dungeon players, they don't get to see all the super cool epic content. Solo players actually get to see that as well. And then we've got a lot of other things that we haven't talked a lot about. We've got a system that we're calling Adventures. That's something that's going to be released in the next couple months, so take a look at that. But I guess the thing to take away from that is it's a massive focus for us at Carbine, and we want people to get to the end and be like, oh wow, I didn't realize that there's even more content for us to do now that you've gotten to cap.
One thing I really liked while I was playing the game, and I need to spend more time in the game just to really get a feel for it, is the combat system. It's not just auto attack and stand there. And I mean, that's one of the other things that I felt too from past MMOs is like, all right, auto attack. They've kind of evolved better since that, but it's still, at the end of the day, it's like, auto attack. Yeah. And I really felt a lot more. I felt like I was actually part of the combat than just my character doing things automatically. So is there any, can you just go in a little bit more detail about that?
Yeah, I mean, so what you're describing is something that we call 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 content, right? Which is just like you're hitting the same buttons in the same order every single time that you play. And, it's just boring, right? Like, there's no other way to say it. And so what we developed is a system that we call the telegraph system. Which basically, when you're fighting a given mob or a group of mobs, they're laying telegraphs on the ground, these red telegraphs. It's basically saying, hey, if you're standing in the middle of this red telegraph, you want to get out. they start out simple at the beginning and they get more complex and challenging as you get to the higher levels. But the thing that it results in is basically a more dynamic form of combat, right? So like instead of being a tank and you just stand there over and over in the same place, now if you want to play in the most efficient way possible, you need to move, right? You need to like look at those telegraphs, find new positions. It makes the combat a lot more dynamic. There's a lot more movement involved in it. And for me, that just means that it's more fun. And I think, what we've gotten feedback from people that play the game, they just think it's awesome. They think it's great. So I've been pretty stoked about the feedback we've gotten for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited to really dive into that combat system. This is kind of a burning question out there on the interwebs. Is people are wondering what the pay structure is going to be for monthly microtransactions, free to play. Is there anything you could say about that?
I can't say specifically what it's going to be, but what I can say is that the pay model is another one of those things that's really important to us. We understand that the playing field out there is evolving and changing. And when we do talk about what our pay model is going to be, I think people are going to be very happy about what they hear, right? I think there's going to be something for just about everybody, and we're still developing that, right? We're still looking at what's happening out there in the marketplace, and when we solidify, I think people are going to be happy.
Cool. Lastly, when can we expect the game? And well, this isn't really a question, but beta signups are active, correct?
So we've announced earlier this year that we're shipping in 2013. We're on schedule to do that. We've got tons of content. Obviously, you play through the game. It's a polished experience already, and we're really kind of in the last parts of putting that all together. Beta signups are happening now. I can't say specifically when beta begins, but I can say that it's very, 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 very soon. We really, really want people to get in. We want to see what they're doing. We want to see what they like and what they don't like. As we near our ship date, we want to make sure that we're taking into account, what the players think about our game. I mean, ultimately, it's for them, right? So we want to make sure it's the best experience that we can give them.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Chad, and thank you to Carbine Studios for letting us check out WildStar today. And Chad, thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
We're looking forward to the game. So see you guys later.